Hi. Today I'm going to walk you through configuring an authentication policy as well as authentication profiles. To get started, click on Policies and either add a new policy set or edit an existing policy. I'm going to apply this policy to all users and devices. Click on User Security Policies and then Login Authentication. Go ahead and enable the policy controls. Here we have a set of rules, conditions, and authentication profiles. So let's go ahead and add a rule. Here, under Properties, you have IP address and identity cookie. IP address is the IP address the user is attempting to log into the identity service from. An identity cookie is a cookie that's written to the browser the first time a user logs in from a specific device on a specific browser. So I'm going to go ahead and choose IP address is outside the corporate IP range, and identity cookie is not present. In this scenario, a user is attempting to log into the identity service from an IP address that is outside the corporate IP range and from a device that has not accessed the identity service before, at least from the specific browser they are using. In this case, this authentication profile below is applied. Let's go ahead and create a new profile. Go ahead and select your challenges. So a user will have to log in with their password and then either use one of these three challenges in order to access the identity service. You can mix and match conditions and authentication profiles to meet your organization's needs. Now, if none of these conditions are applied, and they're applied from top to bottom, then a default profile will be used. So let's go ahead and select a default profile. I'm going to go ahead and create a new one. I'm going to choose password, mobile authenticator, phone call, and text message. We also have the application policy profile, which is used in the event that strong authentication is required in the application configuration settings. So let's go ahead and create a new profile for this. I'm going to choose password and mobile authenticator. So in this scenario, a user will have to log in with their password and possess an enrolled mobile device in order to use a mobile authenticator as their second challenge. Here we can configure our session parameters. The default setting for the identity cookie expiration is 12 hours. I'm going to go ahead and leave that. Now this checkbox here determines whether the Keep Me Signed In checkbox appears at the user portal login page. This allows the identity cookie to span browser sessions. So if a user closes the browser and reopens the browser, they will not be forced to authenticate again until the identity cookie expires. In order to set this as the default option at login, you can check this checkbox. You can also specify how many hours until the identity cookie expires when users log in with that checkbox checked. By default, it's 12 hours. I'm going to go ahead and set this to 4 hours. Here we have a few other settings. We can allow IWA, Integrated Windows Authentication connections, to bypass login authentication rules in default profile. We can also set the identity cookie for IWA connections in case IWA isn't available outside of the corporate IP range. We can also accept IWA connections as strongly authenticated for application policies, in which this will no longer apply. We can also use certificates for authentication, which will bypass the login authentication rules in default profile. And we also have the option to set the identity cookie for connections using certificate authentication and also accept connections using certificate authentication as strongly authenticated for application policies, in which this will no longer apply as well. In the event that a user does not have a second challenge available to them, we can check this box to allow them to still log in. Go ahead and click Save to save your policy options. I hope you found this tutorial useful, and if you have any other questions, feel free to visit our community at community.centrify.com. Thank you.